Peace, family. You're here with Timmy Phillips, and this is the Reformation podcast. So the reason why this podcast is named Reformation is because in life, you're going to notice. You're going to go different seasons, different things, and you're always going to get the opportunity to reformat your life and how it looks. Nobody's like this tree here that's stuck where they are. As a human being, the one thing that we get blessed with is the opportunity to always be able to uproot ourselves and root ourselves and change our situation. And that's what I'm here to do for you guys. Because you see, for me, I started living in a crack house, guys. And that's when my lifestyle really shifted. Because in that crack house, in that darkness, so you got to be in the dark to actually know that you're illuminated. You could be walking around in the light and be illuminated, but you'll never notice it. So don't avoid the darkness. And maybe you're tuned in and you're in darkness. But you see, I went from that and was able to reformat my life to being a six-figure earner and being one of the first people in my family to do that by the things I'm going to teach you guys. So the first part to reformat in your life, the first part of the series is going to be called awareness. You see, in a GPS, if you want to go from one place to another, you first got to know where you're at. You can't just put in GPS, oh, I want to go to New York without knowing if you're, like we're here in Boston, right? You got to know where you're at to know where you're going. But also you got to be aware of what you are to even know your inner capabilities. Like, for instance, like say if there's a lion and you drop a lion amongst sheep. If that lion's not aware it's a lion, it's going to walk around and act like sheep its whole life. So you're a human being. You're probably walking around not even knowing what the heck you are because they teach you everything in school about how to be a human being. But I'm going to open your mind real quick. You see, I know for me, I had to reformat how I see myself and gain awareness of who I was. Because if I would have just accepted the story that I seen on the outside, you see, a lot of us are too attached to what we see on the outside. What you see is just a physical manifestation of God. So therefore, what you see can change. It's not real. Even this tree behind me, which appears to be solid, we know in science they say a solid is just a mass of molecules vibrating fast enough to appear to be solid. It's not even solid. So therefore, we're in the ocean of motion. So you see, for me, if I would have just been attached to what I seen on the outside, I'd have been like, well, my mom's on crack, got a single father, I was locked up when I was 15, and all these other things I went through in life. And I would have been like, dang, I would have marginalized, I would have boxed myself in. But for me, for some reason, from a young age, innately, I feel I've been one of the called. I know I am. But I always know I had a higher calling, and what I seen was just not real. But I knew I was experiencing it. So see, you got to understand, what you're experiencing is just a collection of thoughts and actions of your past self that you've accepted. Your life right now can change like that if you change inside. What are you talking about, Tim? Stay with me. So the first thing I'm trying to make you aware of is that you are a manifestation of God. You're connected to God. So therefore, you have the ability to create things. You got to think about it. Birds fly, fish swim. Everything else in this world does exactly what it's supposed to do. And it's uniquely only able to do that. A lion, nothing else can be a lion. So what's the one thing that human beings can do that nothing else can do? I'll wait. My bright ones got it. Of course, we have the ability to make choices and we can choose to do what we want to do. If you want to go live in Antarctica, I don't advise it. I'm not built for that weather, but you can. We fly planes. Humans don't have wings. We figured it out. So the one thing that we have from the Creator is the ability to create. I need you to be aware of that so you can start looking around your life right now and start saying and accepting the truth. This is of my creation, whether you're aware of it or you're unaware of it. You see, with that awareness that everything we see is just a physical manifestation of God, then we start to be able to look back at our life and start to self-analyze and take responsibility, which doesn't mean take the blame. What it means is responsibility. We are taking the ability to respond to situations. So when I first started reformatting my life and I started really looking at this, I said, wait a second. Let me give everything new meaning. If I truly have the ability to create what I want, let me go back and give everything new meaning. And instead of looking back in my life, and whether it was when I was molested when I was a child, whether it was being locked up at 15, whether it was like the beatings I got when I was younger, everything that I thought was like, my mom being on crack, I said, wait a second. Why did this happen? And when I found the answer, I said, oh, shoot. Well, if that didn't happen, because see, in everything, there's a law of polarity, meaning a battery has to have a positive and a negative side to have a charge. If there's no positive and negative, there's no charge. So if you don't have any negative in your life, then that means there'll never be any positive. So in reality, your worst time is actually your best time. So I said, wait, the reason I'm not scared to try new things is because I didn't have much coming up. So I wasn't scared of losing everything because I didn't have anything to start with. I said, that was a blessing. I said, wait a second. Because I owned my story and I started speaking about things that I experienced growing up, people would be like, Tim, like, you changed my life. I said, wait, that's why. And as long as I used to hold on to the meaning of this was bad or that wasn't supposed to happen, I never got the blessing. But when I released from the attachment of it and what the world would say it's supposed to mean, like, you know, especially being African American, they say, you're a statistic, forget all that. I said, wait a second, I got some strength in me. I grew through all that. That didn't define me. And then I realized, I said, wait a second. So I'm going to reformat the meaning to it. And when I reformatted the meaning to it, I started having awareness. I started seeing my life shift. I started seeing more people coming to me for knowledge, information, and wisdom. I started seeing everything on the outside start to shift. And I said, I get it. I see you, God. I get it. You see, your frequency is going to attract things into your life, and your frequency is what you do and think frequently. So therefore, if you frequently think about your story and your past, whatever you've gone through, and you give yourself the most highest meaning you can give, like, this was all part of creating the best story ever, which is your life. I'll say that again. Every single thing you went through, go back and write down, this is all part of creating the best story ever, which is your life. You're going to start seeing every single pain you had came a blessing, and it's going to show up in different areas of your life. But it's also going to give you the freedom to start to say, hold on, I am a God connected to the God. You know, alhamdulillah, all praise to the Most High, meaning, hold on, I can change my life. And that's what I'm trying to get at, guys. You won't change until you accept the fact that you can. And not even that you can, it's your birthright. Not even that it's your birthright, it's what you're supposed to do. Human beings, we're supposed to create. We're supposed to take information and create. You see, everything is a feedback system. What you see is not real. It's just giving you feedback of what's going on inside. You see this tree? I'm hitting it. The only reason why I'm not going through that tree is because the molecules and the electrons are charged differently than I am. So we repel each other. You can look this up. This is a law of physics. So if you get that and say, wait a second. So then everything's energy, because if I was at a different frequency and energy, I could cut right through this tree. So then you look at your life and say, well, if I change my energy and frequency, then I shift who I am, and then I'm gonna attract different things into my life, and I'm gonna see different. Your eyes aren't intake, they are projectors. Your eyes are projecting what's going on the inside. So in this first episode, guys, I really want you to understand the first part of reformatting your life is having awareness of what you are. You're not some feeble creature that has no control over your life. And you may be like, Tim, well, why'd this happen and then this happened? Listen, remember, I said everything that's happened for you. It's for you. Now, if you've taken that and you've allowed other people to tell you what it means, maybe you're like me and something really, that really whatever happened to you when you was younger, like a molestation or something. If I would have stayed in that and I said I would have made it mean that I was a victim, then I would be living on that frequency. So I would continue to attract things into my life that would reaffirm me being a victim. I get looked over. I would just have all these things that would be happening, and they're just happening, right? No, they're not just happening. I'm creating it just unconsciously because I've accepted a program from somebody else. That's why you got to choose your own mind and write your own story. It's the one birthright we got from the Creator. But out of all these things, and I'd be like, why is this happening to me? But when I self-assess, I say, wait a second. I'm continuously creating a story that's not even of my own creation. So why would you not take control of your life? Being a victim doesn't make you noble, doesn't make you honorable. Maybe you're scared of your own greatness. That's usually what people are scared of, how people are going to perceive me. If I really say, no, that's not what I am, this is what I am, my family's going to be like, who do you think you are? My friends are going to be like, who do you think you are? Forget them. It's not their life. It's your story. You're writing the greatest journey of your life. So you see, since you attract whatever frequency you're on, you're creating from the inside out. And it's not the inside like we think. It's really like, you got to really look in and be like, what am I thinking constantly? What do I think about myself? What I feel do I deserve? What do I truly feel? Because that's what's going to come on the outside. You see, like I said, everything is happening for you in your life. We come into this reality, a piece of the Creator. We come into this reality, and really what Allah's trying to do is experience itself through us. So everything's a feedback. We're creating and we're getting feedback. The soul is getting feedback of what it's like to be a human being, meaning you are born with a divine purpose. That's what your heart is for. Your heart lights up for things that are for you. So A lot of y'all, we need to heal our heart. That's another podcast. But you see, this is how powerful you are as a human being. You got to gain awareness around that. So therefore, when you understand that, then you'll get, well, if I'm here for divine purpose, then I have to have certain things that's going to give me more caliber capabilities. Just like a video game. In a video game, the main character, she never just has the easiest path. They got to go through so many obstacles, bosses. Like the main one goes through more than everybody else. But through that, they don't stop. They don't stop the storyline. They keep going level by level by level. And every level, they get a new skill set. And they look back and they say, damn, all this happened for me. Because they're aware of who they are. They know innately in the game, they know that they're great. So therefore, that's what we are. That's what you are. You see, even in the story, basic instructions before leaving Earth, the story of Joseph, right? Joseph was a child, had all these great things, right? His brothers were jealous of him. He said, I had these dreams, like Joseph had these dreams, they're making fun of him. And what you know, his brothers set him up and sold him into slavery. But since Joseph was in tune with his heart, he always felt, I'm meant to be great. So even as a slave, he said, no matter what I do, I'm gonna do it excellently. I'm gonna exuberate excellence. I am a vessel of excellence, right? So I take that on. I'm a vessel of excellence. I encourage you to take that affirmation because everything he did was excellent. So therefore, since everything he did was excellent, he felt he was excellent, what was going on around him didn't matter. It didn't matter because what started happening, the king noticed, oh shoot, this Joseph guy, he does this great. Let's give him an upgrade. Oh, he has this ability. Let's give him an upgrade. You see, stop worrying what other people think about you. The king may first look at Joseph, that's just a slave. Joseph didn't let that define him. He didn't act like a slave. He acted like who he knew he was. And so he cleaned the floor excellently. Like, damn, who cleaned this floor? It's shiny. I can eat off this. Oh, that was Joseph. Damn, Joseph, it's like that. Yeah, Joseph, he does his thing. Oh, who did that? Oh, that was Joseph. Joseph like that. Yeah, he did his thing. So you see, you start to become renowned for who you are. You'll be known for who you are no matter what the situation is. So stop acting like, some victim or what you've been told. But you see, now since Joseph did that, then all of a sudden, and Joseph knew he had the ability to interpret dreams. He didn't say, well, I'm going to stop interpreting dreams because that's what got me into slavery and I'm scared. No, he said, I interpret dreams. So the king had a dream. He's like, yo, I interpret dreams. And since Joseph did everything else so excellently, the king was like, all right, let's see what else Joseph does. And he told him right information. And since Joseph lived in his truth that was in his heart and he lived inside and had faith in the Most High, alhamdulillah, all praise to the Most High, in the dream he interpreted right, the king made him royal. And then guess what? There was a famine in the land and families from all over had to come and ask for food. And Joseph was in charge of that. And lo and behold, who came? His brothers. But you know who else came? Forget his brothers. His mom and his father, who he deeply loved. The rest of his family, who had no idea he was sold into slavery. They came, and because he lived out his life calling, he was able to give them food. He was able to provide for them. Imagine if Joseph would have been like, I'm a victim, I'm a slave, my brother sold me in, and never had awareness of who he was. He would have never been able to provide for his family. He would have never been royal. See, a lot of you guys have went through stuff because it's for you. You got to remember, there's certain laws of this universe. Like there's a law of gravity. I'm not going to jump off a building and be like, why there's a law of gravity? There's a law of polarity. Which means there's a positive and negative. It's just at different frequencies. Meaning whatever you thought was the worst thing in your life is actually the best thing of your life. You got to choose. You got to be a seer. You got to be an alchemist. And when you can accept and embrace and release from it, see, don't be attached to what you see because what you see is not real. Remember what I just told you, it's not real. It's just playing out. Something maybe you said when you was a kid, I want to be this great person. And so now you got to go through all these things you get to go through all these things. And if you're attached to it, you're going to stay there, but you're not attached to it. You'll be like, I don't know why this is happening, but okay, cool. I'm just going. Just like the book, The Alchemist, the little boy went through all these things, got robbed, almost lost his life, all this stuff. But it all made sense in the end. You'll never connect the dots looking forward, only looking back. So therefore, I'm giving you awareness. I'm giving you stories so you can have, and I know it's resonating in your DNA. I know you're feeling it because the truth, spirit speaks to spirit. It's the truth. So with that knowledge and that awareness and understanding of now, hold on. I'm not a victim. I'm a divine creation. I'm a God connected to the God. And as a human being, I'm the only thing that has a choice to create things. The reason why most people are confused in their environment is we fail to realize we create our environment. A bird, contacts are getting a little dry out here. A bird has to fly. A fish has to swim. A human, you can create whatever life you want. So accept it and gain awareness around your life so you can start to reformat it. Next episode, we're going to be talking about clarity, vision, how to create a future, steps to take. But first, I need you to be aware of who you are. And if we could be anything in this lifetime, why not choose to be our greatest version? Let's be great, guys. Peace.